Niko, what's this I hear about you running with Patrick McCreary now these days?
He's got work and he's a good guy. You're not planning on taking him down, are you? Lay off him, for me.
I'm not planning on taking him down. He's my damn brother, you idiot.
Packy McCreary, Francis McCreary. It's all starting to make sense. I knew Irish families were big, but I didn't expect to run into brothers in a place the size of Liberty City.
Yeah, just thank the Lord you ran into Packy and not my other brothers. Packy's just a hood, but Gerald is into some serious shit. And Derek, he's the worst. If that asshole ever comes back from Ireland, I can't be held responsible for what I do. My brothers ain't no good, Niko. Trust me on that.
You know...
Sick of your bullshit, Francis. Yeah, I like how Francis was texting me while I was on the phone with Francis. He was like, "Oh shit, I gotta shit on my brother, but I also need to tell him about the next mission." Anyway, just was taking a quick stop to the Cluckin' Bell, the Cluckin' Fuck, as I like to call it. I feel like I feel more liberated to swear as much as I normally do when I'm just talking without thinking when I'm playing this game, because I don't know, sometimes I would watch my my SpongeBob LPs and, you know, I start off the video saying fuck and whatnot, and I'm like, oh, the little kid's probably finding it and his mom's getting mad at him, and sometimes I feel kind of bad for that, but at the same time I remember, oh wait, when I was a little kid, I was watching videos of people swearing on YouTube in secret. Like, I remember when I was, like, 15, I thought, or I was probably a little bit younger than that, probably, like, 13. I showed my mom a Brental Floss video, thinking that she would find it pretty funny. And, yeah, here's where I found out that they don't like Ushanka hats, and you have to get a suit. And I didn't really have time to go all the way back to any of my safe houses to change, so I just have to buy a new suit. But luckily there's a Perseus store, which is like the fancy suit store, right by this place. I guess this is where the lawyers get their suits before their interviews. And when you buy the suit, you change out of the hat. I was kind of worried that I would just, like, I got fucked and I couldn't go to the interview on time because I didn't have the suit, but whatever, got a suit. Now I gotta look at Niko's little head instead of the cool Ushanka hat, which I think there's other hats in the game. I think there's like a regular cap, but I only like the Ushanka hat. It looks good on him. But anyway, here we are for our interview. But yeah, was I saying something? Probably. I already forgot what it is.
I'm here for an interview.
Come in, I'll buzz you through.
Anyway, here we are to kill a lawyer who apparently, like, now, okay, so I'm not going to get into Jack Thompson right now because, as I've said, I want to devote, like, a whole video of this toward the end to talking about, you know, the controversies around this game and Jack Thompson specifically, because there's a whole saga with that. But I believe it's just that he alleged that this scene is supposed to be making fun of him, that this lawyer is supposed to be based on him. But I don't really see it. He doesn't look anything like him. He doesn't really say anything. I think if you point the gun at him for long enough without shooting him, he says something along the lines of, like, guns don't kill people, video games do. And I think that's the only real reference to it, but that's just kind of like a general sentiment. Like, Jack Thompson wasn't the only politician in the mid-2000s who believed that shit. Like, Hillary Clinton wanted to regulate video games and was responsible for GTA San Andreas being taken off of shelves. But yeah, this guy doesn't look like Jack Thompson. He doesn't sound like him. His name is Goldberg, so I'm assuming he's Jewish, and Jack Thompson is like a born-again evangelical Christian, and that's like a huge part of the reason that he does what he does, or did what he did, ha ha ha. But, yeah, whatever. It's probably just Jack Thompson being a bitch. But I think Rockstar kind of leaned into it because now I've heard that accepted as, like, you know, true, that this is based on Jack Thompson. I don't think it matters much if you shoot him first. If you fail the mission if you shoot him before getting the files, that's really stupid because, I mean, you can just get the files either way, right? I guess shooting him makes the lady come in, but just pick up the files. She doesn't do anything. She just screams. It's the cops who do stuff. But yeah, this is a fun little mission. It's at least a little bit different than just drive somewhere and shoot the guy because, you know, guy gets suit and at least there, you know, there's like the setup of the interview. Like, it's at least kind of interesting what you have to do. And, you know, it's like good old-fashioned, you know, cop gotta kill a lawyer, you know, because he's getting too close to the shit. Crime stuff, you know? It's one of the better missions, in my opinion. Certainly the best of the Francis missions, probably. The one I remember the most, at least. I remember having a lot of trouble with this part of the game, and the more that I play this game on PC, I notice that the reason that I was kind of poopy, because I was really poopy at all the driving parts when I did my original LP of this because I was playing with a keyboard, and then I was poopy when I played the game when it first came out, when I first got it, because I was only playing with a controller, and the third eye open secret to being good at this game, for me at least, is to do both, because I switch between the controller and normal gameplay and driving because I find it's easier to correct yourself and turn and everything in the car with a controller than with a keyboard. You can be more precise. But with a keyboard and mouse, it's much easier to do all the shooting bits because with the controller, it does the automatic lock-on. If you want to get a headshot, you have to like lock on and then turn up. There's a lot of times where you'll lock onto the wrong guy, or it'll be like a pain in the ass to go from dude to dude or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm not like, obviously, I'm not absolving myself of all responsibility being bad at this game. Part of it is, you know, that I could be better at the game. But I'm just saying, for what's easier and more natural for me is the keyboard and controller combo. Because I mean, I don't know if it's visible in the LP, especially when I'm doing dumb shit like this. In my defense, though, the cars are incredibly slippery in this game, as I've talked about. But, you know, but I don't know if it's visible in this playthrough, but I think I've been doing much better at this game than I do on most playthroughs this time around. Like, I've haven't really had that many problems with the missions. They haven't been super hard. I don't think I've died in a mission, unless I'm already forgetting. I died at the end of the mission, or no, I died at the fucking Ivan mission where I fell off the building. Yeah, whoops. But that, I mean, at least that was funny. And that mission isn't hard, so that's not that bad. I don't feel bad about that. Anyway.
Here are the files.
Great. Peace at last. I feel cleansed. You silenced Goldberg too, right? I don't need to worry about him?
He's done.
Whoa, music to my ears.
Well, that was a nice random canted angle.
Here's your payment.
$1,000. $1,000 for fucking infiltrating a major legal office and killing the lawyer and like 8 cops or security guards. I guess you don't need to kill the security guards, probably. You probably have to kill at least 2 of them, because they're shooting at you, and they get there pretty quick. So unless you, like, disarm them somehow and run really quick, I think you probably need to shoot at least a couple security guards to beat that mission. Maybe I should try a pacifist run of this game. Just kill as few people as possible. Only the ones you absolutely have to kill to progress.
Fucking gray.
Whatever.
You make things 1% better, that's enough. That's our duty.
If you say so.
Oh, I do say so. I want to make things a bit better, by any means necessary. And you? What do you want?
I want to get paid.
Sure. Yeah, sure you do. So listen, I got something I need you to do.
This is the last time.
Of course. Some drug dealer is holed up in a tower block in East Holland. Now, this scumbag's been pushing drugs, pimping women, you name it, he's done it. I need him dealt with.
Isn't that police work?
Sure. And the moon is made of cheese, and the streets is paved with gold. Wake up!
Excuse me?
The guy's guilty as sin. He is sin. But it'll take me a year to get the evidence. More, maybe. And maybe good men will get taken down by that evidence. Maybe people make mistakes. But this guy is scum.
How much?
Oh, how much? Good money. 2 G's.
2? You mean 5?
You know, if someone was to tell me you was some fresh off-the-boat killer with more balls than brains, I'd say he was about right. Okay, you got a deal. Head on up to Vork's site and call me. 5Gs.
5Gs is entirely reasonable for what you're asking me to do, sir. Because we're about to murder a bunch of people in the projects, you fucker. Oh god, Francis is so contemptible. I really hate him. I mean, I guess he is a good character in that, you know, I think you're supposed to really not like him very much. No one in the game speaks very highly of him. I don't know how that car got there. Or was that mine? Who knows? Maybe I hit it and the person ran away. But yeah, Francis is a fucking terrible person. Just crooked cop through and through. You'll learn more about him from Packy in the coming videos. But, yeah, he, like, calls this kid scum because he, pimps women and sells drugs. And he can't even prove it in court without exposing his own crimes. I'm guessing his own complicity in introducing the drugs to the community because, you know how things are. The police and, organized crime are definitely in the know of what goes in and out of the city, and there is an allowance of certain activities for certain reasons. So yeah, he's just gonna order some dude to fucking just murk all of these guys in their housing complex. Oh god, it's really bad. It's only now, like, as an adult, because as I've said before, I haven't really played this game all the way through and paid close attention to the story as an adult ever before this. So an adult that, like, knew anything about anything. Because, I mean, when did I do the LP of this? It was 2014 to 2015? That's when I was, 17, 18 years old? Yeah, like, I had no idea what the context... I didn't really, like, grasp what was being told of me in each... what was being asked of me in each mission, and, the general context of all of these things. Which, obviously, like, I wouldn't say that GTA is particularly, that the inclusion of anything that's in this is, like, any different from any other sort of modern crime fiction. In terms of the assumptions it makes about the different positions of power in society, the police, organized crime, etc., loan sharks, business. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah.
Shit, I wouldn't recommend going up there. It ain't gonna end well for you.
Fuck you.
Do my little chicken dance. I really like the wet footsteps. I think the footstep noises are nice. They're one of my favorite parts of playing this with headphones on. He goes to punch you first? Sorry, bro, that's not gonna work. So yeah, time for, massacre in the projects. You hate to see it. Ay, ay, ay. So something I wanted to talk about in this video was I have been getting really into videos on YouTube. I didn't even see that guy. Whoops. Of dead malls. I think they're really interesting. And I know that there's like an entire like subculture around them now. That guy took a lot of bullets in his body and didn't die. But yeah, lots of like Dan Bell videos and stuff like that. Just got my ass handed to me. I gotta go down and get that health, man. I'm talking to myself in the past. But yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, most people who are into it seem to mostly be into it because just it's interesting to see like the old businesses, and I don't know. There is definitely an interest in the sub community that I have of what I've seen of it, in like the sort of broader social and economic implications and causes of dead malls. These very, like, once ubiquitous, like, centers of conspicuous consumption that boomed in the 80s and the 90s. And just, like, the death of retail and, just the fact that, like, behind every dead mall that only like 4 people are ever in, and like all of the space has been converted to office space, and the only stores that are there is like Bath and Body Works, and like a nail place or something, and everything else has been gutted. Behind each of those malls is like a decaying neighborhood, is like a town that is out of jobs and like doesn't have the money to spend on random bullshit at malls, doesn't have the time to go to them. And like, it is interesting to see like the individual failings of each mall, like, oh, they had this in this store, this design choice was kind of stupid, the area was ridiculous, and honestly, most of the time, on the individual level, most of the malls just fail based on, some confluence of circumstances regarding, like, the financial instruments tied to it, because, a bank owns it or leases it or whatever. And, but there isn't much in the actual videos that, ties it to any broader sort of thing of, like, well, what's different between 70s and 80s and now, or, what's been true of the 70s, 80s until now, 70s and 80s until now, is that, like, real wages have stagnated, prices of everything have gone up, and, we've moved away from production as the sort of center of economic activity, and now it's all financial. And so, like, our supply lines have been eviscerated domestically. We can't, like, make anything. The state has been gutted. We can't do anything. We can't, like, provide anything for any basic things for citizens. Like, to me, the dead malls is just all part and parcel of that. It's, you know, just retail has died, and it's not just with online shopping, although that certainly has a big thing to do with it. But, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not trying to be like a big old bummer, but it is an interesting thing to think about, and it's an interesting way to approach thinking about those sorts of things through the lens of malls, because I think they're a recognizable thing to most people, in America at least. And it's also just fun to look at a shitty mall. I mean, some of them are abandoned and look like they're in a fucking Saw movie. It's pretty interesting. It's just neat. It's like, you know, videos of abandoned houses and shit. It's just kind of cool to see remnants of human activity that is no longer there in pretty much any context. And, you know, seeing all these, like, signs and, you know, just, you know, places of consumerism, signs of consumerism, but, like, dead and decaying, like just the corpses of the Krispy Kreme or whatever, which has gotten me thinking, or, I mean, in general, with the pandemic and shit, I've been thinking about the fact that we are in the fall of an empire, we being Americans, people in America. America is dying. We are in the last throes of it as a, you know, place that anyone would want to be in, or that could be held up as exceptional in any way, except in how fucking shitty it is. And it's why one of the reasons I've been thinking about that is the fact that, you know, this pandemic's been going on for a couple months now, and when it started, I was hoping, you know, the only silver lining that we might be able to get out of something like this crisis of capitalism, you know, this pandemic, that our healthcare system and the state is just, and our supply lines are just completely unable to meet the needs of people for, and that is, you know, accompanied by an economic crisis, that is only happening because, you know, we need people to be going out to Fuddruckers and, you know, buying dumb, expensive bullshit and doing shit and going to parks and concerts and things for the economy to work, because, again, like, production, making things, you know, doing things that actually keep society going, they make us all lose money and make the economy suck ass because of how we've set it up, because the free market is awesome. And if you do the thing you need to do to stop all of the people in your country from dying, then the whole thing fucking breaks, which is why it's the best system and the best way to do everything. But already all the anger has already been subsumed into cultural issues. Just you're either against the lockdown, or it's all Trump's fault, or it's all a hoax by the Democrats and Bill Gates, and vaccines are bad and everything. And, you know, most people will say it's just up to Trump's incompetence, which certainly has something to do with it. But, I mean, he didn't make our healthcare system a patchwork of private networks that can't do anything and aren't actually, like, interested in giving people healthcare. You know, that's one of the main problems, and that's not really all his fault. He's certainly not making it any better, though. But yeah, that's, like, kind of made me think, I don't know how we're gonna get out of this and do anything about it, because I just don't know if the energy's there. And I'm sorry that I'm ending the video like this. This is incredibly depressing. I will be fun and funny in the next video, I promise. I just had to get this off my chest. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.